Hello everyone. In our last class we discussed a pH scale and the strength of the acids and importance of pH scale in our daily life. Right? Here we are going to discuss more about the salts. Okay. We know that salts are formed by neutralization reaction. Right? Neutralization reactions. We discussed when acid is added to the base, when acid and base reacts and gives the salt and water. Okay, salt and water. This is the general equation. When acid and base reacts and gives salt and water. Okay. And now we are going to discuss one more activity which is given in our textbook. Right? Family of salt. We have different type of salts, no? Right? In that we have an activity to find the family of salt. Sir, how we can separate the family of a salt, which a salt is consist of a specific family. How we can justify means here the salt which is having the salts which are having the positive or negative radicals. The positive or negative radicals is belonging to a family. Right? In a given example which have a similar positive radical, these all are one family, consist of a family, or which having the same negative radical, these all are consist in a one family. Okay, by that way we can separate into a different families. Right? In our textbook you have given some of the salts. Okay, then here it is the table, the observation. Okay, once observe it, this is the table. These are the salts are given in our textbook. What? Potassium sulfate, sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, sodium chloride, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate and ammonium chloride. These are the salts he has given. Right? In the textbook he has given find out the acid and base. Right? The which acid and which base is forms the given salts. Right? Here he has given potassium sulfate. Right? The salt is formed by sulfuric acid. Right? Sulfuric acid and potassium hydroxide reacts and gives the potassium sulfate. It is a salt, it is acid, it is a base. Right? The sulfuric acid added to a sodium hydroxide. When sulfuric acid H2SO4 is added to the sodium hydroxide NaOH and it gives the sodium sulfate. What we will get? Sodium sulfate, that is Na2SO4. Na2SO4. And here one more example. Sulfuric acid added to the calcium hydroxide. When sulfuric acid and calcium hydroxide reacts and gives a calcium sulfate. Okay, and then one more example, when sulfuric acid is reacts with magnesium hydroxide, and it gives magnesium sulfate salt. Okay, right? And when hydrochloric acid, here acid is hydrochloric acid, base is sodium hydroxide. When HCl reacts with the NaOH, it gives the sodium chloride. It gives what? Sodium chloride salt. And next, HNO3, nitric acid, is reacts with the sodium hydroxide and it gives the sodium nitrate. NaNO3 is a salt. NaNO3 is salt. And here, in the next example, then carbonic acid H2CO3 is reacts with the sodium hydroxide NaOH and we get sodium carbonate. NaNO3 is the salt. we will get the salt as NaCO3. Okay, and in our last example, sodium hydroxide. Okay, sodium hydroxide and reacts with ammonium hydroxide. It gives ammonium chloride NH4Cl. When HCl reacts with NH4OH, we get NH4Cl. These are the acids, these are the bases, and these are the salts. Then here along as a product, when these acid and bases are reacts, we get product as salt and water in a common product. Common product from this out of all the examples is water. Right, isn't it? Acid reacts with the base and we will get salt and water. Obviously. Got it? Right. Then here we have approximately 8 examples. We have it. From this, we are going to separate families according to families. How we classify the families? The salts which have same positive radical or negative radicals is belonging to a family. Right. Here sodium salt, the family of sodium salt. Family of sodium salt. That means in out of these 8 salts which are having the sodium, okay, right, here 1, see positive radical as sodium here, here and here. Here we have 4 examples: sodium sulfate, Na2SO4, and one more NaCl, right, and next NaNO3, sodium nitrate, right, and next sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, sodium NaCO3. Got it? These all the salts are a family of sodium. Why? Because these all are having the which the common radical is sodium, 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 sodium. Got it? So then these all are example for family of sodium salt. Okay, like that. Now we are going to write one more family. That family is belonging to chloride. That family is belonging to chloride. Then here we are going to find where we have chloride. See here, chloride, and here we have 2 examples, right? NaCl, right, NH4Cl. Got it? Right? Then sodium chloride, NaCl, is the family of sodium and as well as is in the family of chloride. Why? Because here the chlorine is a radical. Got it? Here chlorine, chlorine. So it is the common in the product, it contains the chlorine atom. Got it? Chlorine ion. So that's why this is belonging to family of chloride. Right? In this way we have to separate the examples as in according to their families. Here we can take one more example. Family of sulfate. Sulfate. See here, SO4, SO4, sulfate, 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 sulfate. Right? Here the first 4 is also a family of sulfate. These salts are in a sulfate family. What is that? Potassium sulfate and sodium sulfate. Next, calcium sulfate. Next, magnesium sulfate. Got it? These all are sulfate family. Okay, right? I will get it how to write. Then here one more is given. Family of carbonate. Carbonate, 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 carbonate. Right, here we have only one. Okay, NaCO3. Like that, we have to separate the family of salts by which are having the same positive or negative radical is belonging to a one family. Got it? Like that, Then here we have discussed 8 examples. No? Then you can try with some other examples. You can take some more salts and classify it into their respective families. Okay, right? Then here I will give a 30 seconds time to copy it. Okay. Now one more activity, pH of salts. pH of given salts. Here we have some examples. Salts are given sodium chloride and aluminum chloride, copper sulfate, and ammonium chloride, and sodium hydrogen carbonate, and sodium carbonate, and sodium acetate. These are the salts are given as examples in our textbook, and we have to find these salts pH value. Sir, how we will find it, sir? Very simple. Take a test tube. Take a test tube and take a salt. For example, sodium chloride. I have taken NaCl in test tube, 2 grams of NaCl, and add a distilled water. Which water? Distilled water. Okay, add distilled water to the test tube and stir it. Sir, here the question is, why we have to add only distilled water? Yesterday we find out some pH values of some substances. In that we have find out distilled waters. Distilled water pH is exactly 7, means neutral. If we add the distilled water to this salt, then the distilled water will not affect the pH of the given salt. Okay, instead of that, if you will take a common tap water's pH we discussed 6.8. So it may be little bit may affect, right? If distilled water, it will not be affect. Why? Because it is a neutral one. So we get accurate pH of a given salt. So that's why we have to take distilled water. Okay, right. Then after, take a pH indicator. Take pH indicator and dip in the given solution, and it gives. Discussion on pH scale, it has 1 to 14 numbers. 1 to 14 numbers, right? Then right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then here it starts with the red color, right? While going right side, the color changes. Okay, right? Then here, if pH is 7, it is exactly neutral. If you go this side, then the pH is decreasing less than the 7, that means less than the neutral substances, then it gives acid substances. Okay, the substances are acidic in nature. Then if the number pH is increasing greater than the 7, then it gives basic substances. Like that, when we dip the pH indicator in a water in the given solution, it gives the pH of given solution, right? Here we have already tested. Then the observation is given on the table. When see it, when sodium chloride is tested with distilled water, then after doing this activity, then I have measured the pH of then sodium chloride with the help of pH indicator, and it has given 7. The pH value is given exactly 7. That means given substance is neutral. Like that. Next I have taken aluminum chloride, and then in a test tube and I added some distilled water and stir it. Then after again test the solution with a pH indicator, and it is given 7. If exactly 7, what I said, it is a neutral or not, right? That means it is neutral, means then salts are formed by the neutralization reaction. We know that, right? In that acid and base gives the salt and water. Okay, got it? Then if it exactly 7, it is completely neutral one. It has no acidic nature, no basic nature, exactly a neutral. Right, next I have taken copper sulfate. When I test the copper sulfate with this, I got the value less than the 7. What? Less than the 7. So copper sulfate solution, then solution's pH value is less than the 7. Less than the 7 means it is acidic. So that's why the given one is in acidic in nature. Got it? Right. Then again the ammonium chloride. Then ammonium chloride's pH value also less than the 7. That salt is acidic in nature, right? It is a salt, but it has little bit acidic nature. That's called acidic salts, right? Next, a sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate, it has pH value is greater than 7. Okay, pH of sodium hydrogen carbonate is greater than 7, right? That means it is in basic, right? Got it? That salt contains basic in nature, like sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate's pH also greater than the 7. That means sodium carbonate is also basic in nature, like and sodium acetate, right? Sodium acetate also having the pH is greater than the 7. That means it is also basic in nature, right? By like in this way we can find the pH of salts. Then you can take some more example of salts and you can test it. Okay, once I will give 5 seconds time to copy it. Okay. Okay, now one more topic. Here salts are ionic compounds, right? Salts are ionic compounds which are formed by the which reaction? Neutralization reaction. Okay, when acid and base is added, reacted, they give salt and water. Okay, and these are electrically neutrals. Okay, these are electrically neutral. Salts are electrically neutral. And here we have many kinds of salts, but out of that the common salt, okay, most common salt is then NaCl. What is that? NaCl. Its chemical name is sodium chloride. Name is sodium chloride, and commonly we call as common salt, right? And it is used in our day-to-day life in cooking. It gives the taste for food. Okay, it gives taste for food. Got it? And sir, sodium chloride is available in seawater. Okay, then seawater contains some other salts also. From out of that we can collect the sodium chloride from the sea. Then sodium chloride can collect it from the seawater. Got it? Right? And sodium chloride is not only, it is not only use of cooking food. It is a raw material for some other compound such as sodium hydroxide or washing soda, baking soda, bleach, right? Then now we are going to discuss how one compound is act as a raw material for some other compounds that we are going to discuss now. Okay, all right. Then sodium chloride is a raw material for preparation of sodium hydroxide, right? NaOH. Sodium chloride is a raw material for NaOH. How, sir? Right? Then when sodium chloride is added to water, then that solution is called as brine solution. We call it as brine solution. Sodium chloride is added to the water, and when electricity is passes through the brine solution, when electricity is passed through the brine solution, it gives sodium hydroxide and chlorine and hydrogen. Chlorine and hydrogen when electricity is passed through the brine solution, right? By this process we collect the NaOH. This process is called as chloroalkali process. The process of collecting the NaOH from sodium chloride by passing the electricity. This process is called as chloroalkali process, right? The chloro for chlorine gas, chlorine, right? Alkali for NaOH, alkali LOH, which salts are dissolved in water, which bases are dissolved in water is called as alkali, no? Right away. That's why the chloroalkali process. Okay. Here chlorine gas is collected at anode. Chlorine gas is collected at anode, and H2 hydrogen and NaOH aqua solution. Okay, aqueous is collected at what? Cathode. Right, it collected at cathode. Chlorine gas is collected at anode. Okay, then this process is called as chloroalkali process. Then now we have to write a balanced one, no? Balanced equation, no? Right, chlorine, so 2, right, 2 and 2, got it? NaOH and so on, so right, got it. Okay, this is a process to collect the NaOH. Your main ingredient is, raw material is sodium chloride only. Okay, right. Then next, bleaching powder. Bleaching powder can prepare. Then here in our last discussion, when sodium chloride brine solution, through this brine solution, electricity is possessed, it given sodium hydroxide and chlorine gas, no? That chlorine gas here we are going to use. Okay, the reaction between the lime and the chlorine gas, it gives the bleaching powder. Bleaching powder, CaOCl2 and water, right? And we know that we will in our daily life we will use bleaching powder to cleaning purpose, right? It uses bleaching bleaching powder we will use in cotton industry, and as well as bleaching of wood pulp in paper industries, and as well as disinfecting drinking water. That means they make germ free water by adding of bleaching. And next it is a reagent to prepare the chloroform. To prepare the chloroform we will use this bleach. Okay, and next one more product, then that is done by the sodium chloride. Okay, right? When sodium chloride and water, then here is the chemical reaction in the equation is given. From this we will get the baking soda. What is this? Baking soda. We will use this in food items to give fast cooking. To get fast cooking, we will use baking soda, right? The baking soda is a mild non-corrosive base. It is mild non-corrosive base. Then when we will heat the baking soda, this reaction takes place. Na2CO3 plus water and carbon dioxide CO2 is releases. Because of that, when we are preparing the cake or bread or any food items, then while heating, the carbon dioxide is releases. Due to that reason, the food items makes very softer and smooth one. Right? A cake is very soft or not. Bread is very soft or not. In that, what ingredients we add, then along with that we will add this baking soda, and it is used as antacid. One of the product. One of the ingredient in antacid to neutralize the reactions, and it is used as a mild antiseptic agent. Okay, it is what baking soda is also used as mild antiseptic agent. Okay, right. Next, now washing soda, right? Here in last discussion, when baking soda is heated, we will get one of the product is sodium carbonate, right? Then recrystallization of sodium bicarbonate gives the washing soda. Recrystallization, right? Then it contains Na2CO3 and 10 water molecules, right? In a crystallization, water of crystallization is the fixed number of water molecules. It contains fixed number of water molecules in one formula unit in crystallization, right? Okay, and then uses of washing soda, right? We will use in a glass, soap and paper industries, right? And as well as we will use to prepare sodium compounds such as borax powders, and we will use washing soda for a domestic purpose to clean the clothes, to clean the items which are present in our houses, and it is used to removing the permanent hardness of water also. Okay. And here we discussed, then recrystallization contains a fixed number of water molecule in one formula unit, right? Here, then you can do one simple activity. Take a test tube, okay, and take small crystals of copper sulfate. That is it, copper sulfate, 5H2O, right? And hold it with the help of a test tube holder, and heat the test tube with the help of the burner. And before heating, observe the color of copper sulfate. It is in blue in color, right? Then while going on heating, what you will observe? You will observe that the copper sulfate, then color, blue color, changes into white. It changes into white, and as well as we can observe the water drops at walls of the test tube. At walls of the test tube. That means while on heating, water which is present in the copper sulfate crystals are evaporated. That crystals the water present in the crystals are evaporated, so that's why it changes into the blue into the white. Then after small amount of water to that copper sulfate, again it turns from white to blue. right? Like that. In one formula in it, it consists of a fixed number of water molecules in crystallization, right? Like that. Here, how many water molecules the copper sulfate contains? 5 water molecules. In washing soda, 10 water molecules. Like that. In gypsum, right, CaSO4, it contains 2 water molecules. It contains 2 water molecules. Okay, right. Here gypsum, right? Then if you heat the gypsum and it loses the water molecules. Okay, careful heating, then the gypsum loses the 1.5 water molecule, and it gives the calcium sulfate hemihydrate. This is what calcium sulfate hemihydrate, that is generally we call as plaster of Paris. Generally we call as plaster of Paris. It contains half water molecule. Okay, right. And when we add water to the plaster of Paris, it convert into the gypsum. This is gypsum's, no? Right. Then gypsum is the hardest substance. That's why we have many uses with the plaster of Paris. Right. We will use by doctors to in fractured. Right. And when bones are fractured, then they use the plaster of Paris by adding the water. Then they use to give hard surface. Okay, and next we will use this plaster of Paris to make toys, idols, right? And it is used to prepare the decoration materials, and plaster of Paris is used to make smooth surfaces, like in houses the walls make a smooth while using this plaster of Paris, right? And like this, the sodium chloride is the main raw material for some of the products we discussed now. Okay, this is our today's class. Thank you.